Welcome you all to this video about the financial plan. In this video, I will describe with you with this PowerPoint. After that, we will practice the financial model together in the Excel. Okay. So the content that we are going to cover here is about the required startup fund and the source of financing. Okay. I will encourage you to think about the numbers of the investment that you have to make at the beginning of your business. We are going to discuss about the sales projection, how many items you plan to sell in each year, how many customers will use your shop in the first year, the second year, and the third year, for example. And I'm going to discuss with you about the cost estimation. To sell one item of your products, maybe you use the OEM to produce it. So you have to estimate the cost. We have to estimate those expense projection, for example, the selling and general administrations. Finally, my Excel financial model will help you to prepare the pro forma financial statement. Okay, so let's begin. The first thing in the financial plan is that we need to think about the required startup fund. Okay, required startup fund. You think about all of your assets, all of your equipment that you have to buy, you have to invest in at the beginning of your business. So you have appropriate resources to conduct your business. Later on in the financial model, we'll encourage you to think about them item by item. The best way is that imagine from the ground until the first day of your business, which item you have to buy, which asset you have to purchase, to set up your business. That will be the required startup fund. So let us assume that you need 5 million baht to start your business in your inventory, in your license, in your product development, anything. Okay. So from the idea until the beginning of the business, you need 5 million. So this 5 million will be what we call the required startup fund. Okay. So that 5 million will come from two sources. The first one is what we call the equity, and the second one is what we call the debt. Okay. So to invest in the 5 million baht project, assume that you have 3 million baht. So you have to borrow money from the bank, 2 million baht. Okay. So this is what we call the source of financing. Some of you may think that I have 3 million. Another 2 million will be employed from the new investor. That is also possible. Okay. So once we think about the source of financing, we divide them into the equity decision and debt decision. Okay. So let us metaphor with this picture. You are going to begin with this business 5 million baht. You have 3 million baht. So you have to borrow 2 million baht. Okay. Later on in the financial model, we'll provide you some part of this in their worksheet. After that, the next thing in the financial plan is that you have to do the sales projection. I know that you have several products, several services. Maybe you have to assume how many items you will plan to sell in the first year, the second year, and the third year. One of the things that in our finance field, we usually employ is the concept of the conservative. Okay. Don't try to be too optimistic in your financial plan. Okay. Try to make it the most likely case. And the next thing is the cost estimation. Sometimes we call them the product costing. Okay. So to come up with one item, what is the cost of that? Okay. Some of you may use the OEM. So the price that you pay to the OEM is the cost of your product. Okay. So at this point, I encourage you to think about the cost of the product. Some of you provide the service. Maybe you have to think about, oh, once one customers come to your shop to purchase some of your service, you can estimate the cost of that service as well. Okay. So here is the idea of the cost estimation. You are going to sell some product like this. So you have to break down into each component, the glass, okay, the container body, the cap, and so you can contribute these three items into your product. For example, this is $1. This is $3. So this is $1. So in total, this item will be cost $5, for example. So try to make the best estimation of your product or service cost, okay? That will bring you to the most accurate financial plan, okay? The next thing is the expense projection, okay? If you remember when we discussed about the finance, we discussed this thing as a selling and general administrations, okay? Including rents, insurance, employee wages, advertisement, legal fee, okay? So if you have some list of the expenses that you have to pay in every month, that will be very good. Okay, later on I will introduce to you about this thing in the financial model. Okay, the pro forma financial statement, the pro forma is mean the future. Okay, so once you put your information in our Excel model, it will provide you the pro forma financial statement. You can see the income statement in the next 3 years. It means pro forma. It means your estimation in the future. Okay. So this is an example of the pro formas. Once you move on to the final project presentation as well as your academic paper, I would like to see what is your sales, what is your cost of sales, what is your net profit. Okay. You may need to show us only important items. Okay. So I will provide you with some additional link, but make sure that you understand for the discussion of the whole video here, as well as you may need to think back once we discuss about the business finance. So these are the 4 topics that you might need to cover in your financial plan. The first one is the required startup. I would like to know how much money that you have to invest at the beginning of your business. About your sales projection, okay? How many items you plan to sell in the first, in the second year, and so on. The cost of those product and your expense projection. And finally, I would like to see the pro forma financial statement. In terms of the pro forma, you focus only on the income statement. That is enough. So that is all about this presentation. And a few moments, I will introduce with you about our Excel model. So here is our financial model. Okay, basically you have to read the instruction and move on with the information input. I would like to discuss with you in brief here, and then you can work on with your team. Basically, you have to input the detail in the yellow cell, okay? Fill in the box here. For example, business A, B, C, for example, okay? And then you are going to move on page by page here, okay? So let's get started together here. The first sheet is about the required startup fund, okay? Required startup fund. The idea here is that you have to put the numbers in the yellow cell, okay? Do your business need real estate, building, equipment, furniture here, okay? And then if you have to employ some employee at the beginning before you actually open your business, you may need to put in the pre-opening salary. Now, for example, 200,000, for example, okay? So it means that before before you open your business, you have to put this money to buy those assets for the operating expense. Okay, remember, put the number only in the yellow cells. Okay, some number you might not have it, so just leave it blank here. So in total, you need 1.556 million. Okay, this is your total required startup fund. Okay, if you remember what we discussed in the PowerPoint presentations. So as an equity, I have 1.15 million. So 0.4 million will be the debt. You see, so this part come from equity, this part come from debt. So the idea here that you have to work on here is that you have to put the number here. Okay. One of the recommendation I would want to share it to you is that you list the information outside your file here, and you just put the number here. Okay, it is better than you add some row try to do some calculation here, and the model they change, you see. The second sheet is about the salary and the wages, okay? How many owner you have, how many employee you have, you see. And for the wages, this is on the hour basis, you see. Maybe you don't have it, for example, you see. Oh, I have 2 owner. Each owner you pay 35,000, for example, and you have 5 employees. You pay them 15,000, for example. Just make it simple, okay? And then here is the salary growth, 5%, 5%, for example. So you can see that the salary of the employee grow at 5%, okay? So that will be the important part that you have to put here. But if you have the part-time employee or hour basis employee, maybe you can put it here. After that, I encourage you to think about your fixed expense, okay? Or as part of the expense that you have to pay every month. Advertisement, you see, all of them, okay? And this will be on the monthly basis, and then it will calculate for the yearly basis for you. Again, you may need to predict their growth rate, you see, because your expense grow every year. So this will be part of the operating expense, okay? Remember, you have to put it in your yellow cells. Move on to the fourth sheet and the fifth sheet. Both of them, they are the same. In the fourth sheet, it is about product A and product B, okay? Product A and product B. And for the fifth sheet here, it will be the product C and product D, okay? Again, you have to put in the yellow cell. For the first product or the first service, what is the price of that? For example, 140. And then you are employing the OEM to produce it for you. So you pay them 65 per item. So that will be your selling price and your cost. Here is about your sales projection. Okay, so you have to do the sales projection on a monthly basis. So in the first month of the year, you plan to sell 2,700, for example, like this. Okay, and then basically you have just to put the number of the sales per month here. Okay, no need for the growth here, no need for the growth here. Okay, and then here is the overhead expense allocation. Overhead expense allocation. Okay, one of the things is that you have to ensure that overhead allocation of the 4 product, one here, okay, one here and one here, all of them, it should be in total of 100. It means you try to allocate the overhead expense to each product. And what is the overhead expense? It will be from the sheet 2 and sheet 3. Okay, so this will be your input in the product sales forecast. Price and cost and number of the item you plan to sell. Or if you provide a service for the customers, maybe the number of the user that will use your service. Okay. After that, you can see later on here, it will provide you an income statement here, cash flow statement, balance sheet here. Very convenient. Okay. What I encourage you to do is that you can see in sheet 11, this will be the year-end summary. Okay. So you will have the total income. You will have the total cost of sale, okay, total salary. You just summarize this page, and this will be your net income, okay? So just select the important figure here and show in your presentation. What will be your total income? What will be your total cost of sales? What will be your net income, okay? So later on, you can see this will be the income statement for year 1, income statement for the second year, and income statement for the third year. But basically, what I would like to encourage you is that this Excel model provides you the summary already. Just focus on the sheet 11. So you have to tell in the class, you have to explain in the class what is your sales, what is your net profit, okay? So that will be all about the financial plan here. This Excel is very convenient to use. I encourage you to save it with your laptop and try to use it in the future. So once you move on with the financial plan, if you have any question, let me know.